Today, we are going to talk about Karl Marx. The credit for the establishment of communism in the world goes to Karl Marx, from which lots of new countries were made, like Russia and China. Lots of political parties from all around the world follow his ideology. He was born on 5th May 1818 in Germany. At those times, Germany was ruled by the king. He was Jewish by religion, but he did not believe in any religion as his father was secular. He was born in a wealthy family, but he gave his thoughts and became the voice of all the poor people. He get his basic education from his father till 1830. After that, he joined Troy High School, which was owned by his father's friend. That school got lots of problems with the government as they were making aware the children about lots of freedom thoughts. These thoughts were very necessary for revolution. In 1836, he completed his law degree and married Jenny von Westphalen, who was from a wealthy family herself. Jenny broke her engagement with other guy and married Karl Marx in 1843. Karl Marx never said that there should be a revolution or there should be use of any violence or weapons for any revolution. He believed that revolution would not come within nights. When there is intolerance in the society, then he believed that the revolution will come by itself. His father wanted him to become a lawyer, but Karl Marx wanted to become a philosopher. He first completed the law degree, then he get a PhD in philosophy. He slowly get involved with the socialists and started to talk against capitalists. He started to write books where he talked about the nationalism. He worked as a journalist and started to talk about the rights of the worker. During those times, almost all European countries were having industrial revolution. Rich were getting rich day by day and poor were getting poor. All the wealth were limited to few people. Karl Marx began to write about these things and raises the feeling of revolution among all people. Machines were much needed during that time, and these all machines were owned by only few people, by which few people were using it to make more money, limited to themselves. Poor people were getting abused day by day with their labor. Rich people were ruling poor people. Actually, his thoughts were used as an inspiration by many popular people after his death, which were used by them to create awareness in people and bring revolution in different countries. Because of his freedom thoughts, he was forced to escape from Germany to France and from France to Belgium. He was ordered not to publish any books while staying in Belgium. He believed that when there is an awareness in all people, then revolution will automatically take place and it will take a long period of time for that. In 1849, Karl Marx was exiled in London and established Communist League, which was against any race difference, and he believed that all the wealth should be distributed among people equally. He spent almost his entire life in journalism and writing. He started to write against the slavery. His posts were started to publish in New York, Delhi, where there were lots of slavery during that time. During his lifetime, people was making fun of his thoughts. But later, whatever he wrote became reality and is still happening today around the world. He made a prediction that if nothing is done, then the economy will be occupied by capitalists and rich will become rich day by day, and there will be a conflict between rich and poor, and finally a revolution. He talked a lot about the class struggle. He compared profit as an evil. He gave the thoughts of communism according to which he believed that all the wealth should be distributed to all people equally. In capitalist economy, all the wealth will be under few rich people. Rich will be more rich and poor will be more poor. He was strictly against this system that was happening in the society even today. He believed when all will be aware of this, only then we can get the victory against the capitalist economy. In 1867, Karl Marx published a book named Das Kapital, which was very popular till date and which has explained capitalism in detail. He described in details how the workers are getting ruled by few rich people in this book. All the profits will be taken by capitalists who owns the property, and worker will be treated as slave. In the top position, there will be a king who will make rule or law. Then after that, there will be a religion which will fool all people with blind trust. Then there will be a soldier that will help to protect this king and the religion. Then there will be a people who are wealthy and owns a property and make people work for them and takes all the profit. And only after that, lastly, there comes the worker that will keep working for them day and night for them with no profit or benefits. When the worker has to pay a high price to buy the products that they themselves made, then there will be a kind of feeling that the workers will feel that they are being ruled by few people. When all the workers get frustrated with their condition, they will all become one and there will be a big revolution. Whatever he writes became a reality in many countries. Lenin was inspired by him and created a big Soviet. Karl Marx mentioned that the biggest enemy of capitalism is capitalism itself. He even mentioned that to marry as well, people will think about their own profit. Capitalists will create a society where people will compare the property to marry as well, instead of looking for love and emotion. The workers will work day and night and give all the profit to the people who owns that factory or industry. All these profits will be limited to few rich people. Karl Marx believed that this profit is a kind of theft to the worker, so it should only be distributed to workers. Taking all the profits by only capitalists is a kind of slave for the poor people and worker. He believed all the ordinary people should be the most powerful. All the banks, schools, factories, industries, and transportation system should be under the government. Facilities of hospitals and education should be made free. All private properties should be prohibited. He died in 14 March 1883 in London, stateless or countryless. He did not have any citizenship during his death, and only 11 people were there for his condolence. His thoughts were widespread only after his death. The word communism comes from Marxism, where all are equal. Today's world is of capitalism. As he said, in today's world, rich people are getting richer, whereas poor people are getting more poor. His thoughts is a reality today. As he mentioned, the number of rich people in this world is very less, and everything and all the power are limited to them only. The revolution in Russia, China, Cuba, Vietnam, and North Korea were all inspired by him. Russia applies this theory in real under Lenin for the first time in the history, which was happened in 1917 after Karl Marx's death. That's all for Marx. Thank you.